Yeah. But,
That's the memory. So awesome. That's so awesome. So, I love it. Well, you know, that particular year, it seems like a lot of people had things that happened. And I remember even like Mia, she won that show. But remember,
did she win? Was Mia that one?
The first Fitness Olympia. Mia won. Well, even that year, like, and her routine was, you know, just amazing.
Oh, well,
like,
she's fabulous.
Yeah. But I remember they said no thong, T-back, whatever you want to call it, right?
And she won the thong.
Well, she ended up, she had she had leggings that had mesh leggings underneath her outfit. And for whatever reason, I think they ripped or something, which nowadays people probably rip them anyways. But she ended up not being able to wear them. And I remember everyone was like, oh my gosh, she went on stage without her leggings. And, you know, and it was like the big thing. But she had such a great routine. I got to interview her maybe a year ago on here. It was really great to catch up with her and just kind of brainstorm about all the fun stuff. But what a great story. I never knew that. And that was so fun. So fun. So I want to talk a little bit about your experience with actually competing in bodybuilding. Who, if any, and I know you said Rachel, which I would love to have Rachel on the show here. And I messaged her a year and a half or so ago, and she just said, well, I'm really not doing anything fitness industry anymore. And I'm like,
yeah, she's pretty chill. Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's okay. It's just about yours. You know, I'm like, it's about the history that you've left here, right? And so many people still like you, people,
yeah,
who she is. And people ask me still once in a while, like, what's up with, I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, so with bodybuilding, outside of Rachel, who were kind of your, like, people maybe that you really maybe admired or enjoyed competing with because maybe they created you to work a little harder? And, you know, who were those, what names were those names?
Oh, that was such a, it truly was a golden era, you know, and I'm sure it was even better in the 80s. Of course, Rachel, Corey. I remember when Corey won the first Miss, because I was such a Rachel fan, that when Corey won, I'm like, oh man, she beat Rachel. Yeah. But I mean, you know, and I say this all the time, you know, Corey and I, we speak, and so did Rachel and I, and they're both absolute wonderful, fabulous ambassadors. Mm-hmm. They're both gorgeous. I mean, but Corey has a frame that will never be beat, whether it be bodybuilding, fitness, figure, physique. My opinion, okay?
Mm-hmm. No, it'd be beautiful.
But I mean, she is so balanced, mm-hmm. and her joints are so tiny, and her muscle bellies and everything's so long, and everything perfect. She did it perfect. Her training, perfect. I mean, it was just jaw dropping. I remember when I first saw her, I was at my first Olympia in '92. It was my first Miss Olympia, and that was in Chicago. And Linda was reigning, and of course, Linda won another 5 after her, you know, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But and Linda looked amazing too, and another different physique, the X factor, the series. Linda, I'm like, oh my god,
the waist and everything, yeah.
Oh my lord, those shoulders. But I remember seeing Corey the first time. She had white tights on. And we're all backstage. She's talked to Wayne DeMille, and I couldn't stop staring. I mean, her legs are truly that fabulous. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, I thought it was just the pictures. Well, yeah, a great inspiration. Gladys Portuguese, because I come from a modeling background. I thought, well, how cool for her, you know, to bring the modeling into, you know, and well, of course, Rachel and Corey were gorgeous too, and so and like they're all, everyone's yourself. I mean, everyone, you know. I think it's just that health factor too, the glow that everybody has. I just say the most fun I had traveling, because we had, in my day, you know, we all hit the FIBOs together and all the appearances around the world. Love Linda. She is just an amazing spirit. She just shines. She's I just love her. The most fun I've had, Debbie Mugley.
Okay.
She had so much fun. Actually, she and I, go ahead.
No, I just remember her pictures and her, but I never really got to know her.
Debbie, yeah, she competed a few years after I retired. And then she got married, she got a daughter, she went back teaching kindergarten, and her daughter's like a world-class gymnast now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, amazing. Of course, right? Yeah. Yeah, Debbie and I, along with a few other, the girls in the day were in Nemesis together, but she and I played these cyborgs with the blonde wigs and, you know, the big leather outfits and big boots and stuff. And if we didn't have the wigs on, they had bowl caps on us and that. And we would take off from set. If they were done with us for a while, okay, go chill in your honey wagons or, you know, stand by the craft table, whatever, but try stay out of the heat. We're in Globe, Arizona. It's like 200 degrees, you know. They want our makeup to melt. And so we take off, because they had dune buggies there. We took off on the dune buggies a couple times because there was a Walmart. In Globe, Arizona, there's a Walmart, there's a bar, and, and a gym, you know. Tiny little town outside of Phoenix. And we took off a couple of times to Walmart in our outfits as Walk and Ditko. And we, you know, those big wheelie kids, little big wheelies and that. We steal one each and we'd be wheeling around Walmart in our outfits. You know, and the people are like, I don't know, who are you? Where they come from? She was so much fun. She was like this little girl in this big body, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But high school was a lot of fun. But yeah, those were. But yeah, my biggest inspirations were Gladys, Rachel, and Corey.
Man, just some good days, you know. And it. Yeah. I know that I got into competing in 91, 95. You know, moved to California, and that's when I started. Like I said, I started working with Lisa. Lisa just transformed my routine, and then I got a right, and she did all my music, and then I ended up getting a gymnastics coach, learning gymnastics in my late 20s. So
that's insane. That's why I said I remember watching like that's insane. How did you do that?
I don't know.
This girl is an athlete, everybody. This is a true athlete, Monica. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not just saying this because she's in front of me. This girl. I watched her grow at Gold's Gym. Yes. I did, you know.
Right?
You know, I just, day after day after day. Yeah.
I remember Lisa, because mind you, I didn't come from any dance background either. Like, I was a horseback rider and I ran track and played volleyball and I water skied. Those were my athletic things growing up, and I was good at all of them and I loved all of them, but none of those taught you skill on stage. They didn't teach you how to spot a turn or point your toes or anything. And I remember when I first started working with Lisa, pointing my toes would make my calves and my feet cramp up. So it was miserable. And I remember Lisa yelling at me because just for you guys listening, Gold's Gym Venice used to be, if you didn't know this, it used to just be Gold's Gym Venice. And there wasn't like the franchise of Gold's Gyms all across the world. So it was like, that was the Mecca, right? And then
it still is.
And so I went in, and of course, that's where I got my choreographer. She was a dancer, a distinguished dancer in her own right, and she's been on TV and movies.
Well, she's a world-class dancer, choreographer, and she did a lot of film TV.
So she was yelling at me, point, spot, and smile. Point your toes, spot your turn, and smile. She yelled the whole time I was practicing, point, spot, smile. And I'm like, trying to learn how to do these things. Strength moves. And there was one strength move series that and then there was one strength move series that I wanted to learn so bad. And I didn't see anyone else doing it. I just thought, if I can be here, and then I can be here, and I want to learn this. So I remember the day, because for months I was practicing it, and she kept telling me, you've got to get this, you got to get this. And then she finally said, Monica, if you don't have this next week, we're taking it out, or we're moving and we're doing something easier. And I was like, no, I have to get this.
That's your will.
And sure enough, I got it by the next week. And then that was like my signature thing I did in all my routines until I could quit competing. It would be in there, that strength move series. And I never, at that point, had seen anyone else doing it. So I just wanted my own signature thing.
Yes, absolutely.
But she was amazing. So I'm so excited to talk to you. It's so fun to, and I have so many questions. I'm looking at my time. I'm like, I don't want to keep you on too much, so long that, I wear you out talking about stories. But what about shooting? Because you were a very well-known athlete and model, and your pictures are just beautiful. You always knew how to pose. And can you talk a little bit about the modeling in the fitness realm and what, how that was for you. And also maybe, yeah, just like, what do you think about that part of the era of fitness? Because it's so different now, right? Like everyone's on social media.
Well, it is. It was a different time, I'm sounding like my parents in that day, yeah.
Back in the day. but would you not say that it was so different? And I think you and I can relate to this, but the magazines created stars for the industry because they put out who they thought should be the star, right? And nowadays we don't have that. Nowadays you're self-star.
Absolutely, you pulled the words right out of my mouth, and that's the big difference. Because of social media, everyone is a star. We're all superstars. I'm not taking anything away from anyone.
No, right.
Just getting through life, we're all superstars. Honestly, fitness or not.
Right.
But yes, that is a fact. That is an absolute truth. Before the internet killed publications, just like VH1 killed the radio. The magazines did make you a star. So whether you, like, I never won Olympia. I never won a pro show. I turned pro. I won my show to turn pro and earn the right to be recognized as an IFBB pro. Okay. But I never won a pro show. But I got more covers and features than most of the winners. So that's why I always say to, even now, I'll say to whatever it is you're, in whether it's the fitness field or, like AGT or The Voice, you don't have to win, just get the exposure. That'll make you a star. But you got to stay on top of it. You got to be good at it. And because of my modeling background, that was my favorite. I was always comfortable in front of the cameras. And if Bill or Robert or Michael or George were watching this, they just let me play. Here's the idea, Then I just start and like, oh, okay, well, okay, that's good. Just keep going,
There was no bad angles on you or anything, like your features of your face, your body. No.
Well, you know this too because you're very good in front of the camera too. You have a lot of great images because of your comfort front, and because you have this confidence within that. The more you do it, the more comfortable you become. Okay, that's a given. But a lot of stage helps you with that too, right? You're used to being in front of an audience, whether it be live or just that camera and, people seeing it later on. But I've always enjoyed modeling. I've always enjoyed print work. And whatever outfit they put on me, then I just had a certain energy that came with it. I'm still shooting. I still do a lot of shoots and that, It's like, it's an art. It is an art. But I'm going to say, a lot of, not a lot, but, some of the athletes were a little peeved that I was getting more exposure. Because as you know, especially being under contract with Weider, you can only shoot for Weider publications, right? So there was Muscle and Fitness, there was Flex. Shape had their own kind of world going on. They were owned by Weider, but they were like into the Jane Fondas and the Suzanne Summers, right? And then there was Men's Fitness. So for the women at that time, there's only Muscle and Fitness and Flex. He had a ton of athletes under contract at the time, men and women. So everyone's vying for a cover. So when you got a cover at that time, it was a big deal because you couldn't work with any other publications. Prior to the contract, I was able to work with Muscle Mag and Iron Man and so forth and so on. And everyone's like, well, how come Corey got so much exposure? And stuff? It's because in the day there was no contracts. You got to shoot for everybody. Everybody got a piece of you, so to speak. But, so that was very special. And so I was always, thank you, Lord, every time I got a feature or a cover because, and again, I didn't win a pro show. It doesn't matter. It's what sells. It's what the market wants. And, if you're a good business owner, it's all about marketing, how you package your product, whether it be your supplements or your contests, your magazines, whatever. You put on that cover what sells for you, that makes you money, right? And that's why you had so many covers, yourself. And but that wasn't easy. That was, I think that was my favorite out of everything, was doing the shoots.
Yeah, it was fun, especially working with photographers. There was a lot of really great photographers. So.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
I remember when I moved to California in '95. You know, you go into Golds and you start doing the thing, and then you end up outside of the Weeder publication contracted photographers. There was maybe like 4 or 5 top photographers for the whole industry that you knew if you shot with them, your stuff was going to get somewhere. It was,
oh, absolutely.
Right? Rick Schaff, Irvin Gelb, Alex Ardenti.
Oh, those are
Jim and Mittler.
Jim and Mittler. I shot a lot with Jim right after I turned pro.
That's it. Like
Ralph DeHaan.
Well, Ralph was a contracted photographer for Weeder for the most part until later.
Not
my first cover.
When I think I was shooting with him, he was with Women's Physique World.
Well, this was '94, my first cover, Muscle and Fitness, and he at the time was a contracted photographer. So
really,
yeah, I met him and Steve Winterstrom at the same time with John Perillo in '93. In Tijuana, there was it was the Nationals, or maybe it was either, I'm sorry, it was the USA's or the Nationals, I can't remember, and I was dating a bodybuilder who was competing there, and I didn't know anything about the industry either. I was just like, I'm going to go see this guy I'm dating. And he was training with John Perillo. So John Perillo was like, you need to meet friends of mine, Ralph DeHaan, Steve Winterstrom, and then that's kind of how I ended up shooting with Ralph and getting that cover. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know what a cover was. Bodybuilding. Nice. Yeah, but it was fine. But somebody of us, right, and just kind of being at the right place. And it's funny, that bodybuilder that night after the show, he was so mad. You know how bodybuilders, they can get like a little crazy. He was so angry that he placed 8th in the super heavyweight division. So he was unhappy with that. And then I was getting more attention than him, probably because I was,
well, you're Monica.
Well, but at the time, I was just this cute blonde girl from Texas who had never done anything.
Beautiful.
Right? So he quit talking to me.
Still stage, it's a period,
He literally didn't talk to me the rest of that night, and I left the next day with my girlfriend, and I was like, I don't even think I saw him again or talked to him for a while, and he finally called me, I guess. But isn't that crazy? That's how I got my first cover.
There you go. Well, in the right place at the right time, right?
Yeah.
Like, see, he came into your life for a reason. It wasn't all wasted. You got a cover because of him.
Yeah, my first one. So, do you have a favorite cover that you remember that off the top of your head?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, my favorite of all time. And I've had some of my set, where I'm the only one on the cover. But no, my favorite of all time is the Flex with Linda and Corey.
I know. I was thinking in the back of my head, I love that. I was into Inside Feature, but I love that cover of you guys. I treasure that because I remember, and we've got some stories on the fun shoot. But I just remember being with those two, and I didn't know we were going to get a cover. We kind of thought, but you never know, right? Was that Robert Reith shooting that? Robert Reith, and I was so thrilled. I was so thrilled to be there. I was like, oh my God. Gorgeous cover. Gorgeous cover. Okay. Yeah, that was, great memories. Corey and I still laugh, but that's for another time. No, yeah, I mean, just blessed. I mean, so grateful for that one. But I was going to say, like back in the day, I remember at the '92 Miss Internationals and in Columbus, Ohio, and that was my first pro show. So my first entry into the pro world, right? Of competition and photographs, because interesting. That's why a lot of my older covers, if I'm with like Milos or I'm with Sonny Schmidt or I'm with Lee Labrada or with I'm using the same outfit with the same hairdo because and I didn't know to bring like 20 outfits because what the photographers did this just before the contract wars, right? With Weeder and Metarex and Twin Lab and that's how I got the Weeder contract. But the photographers, Jim Amentler, Ralph DeHaan, Irvin Gelb, the Women's Physique World crew, I mean, like all these independent photographers, they were Paul Good. Motel rooms in the hotels that all and we're all running from room to room doing photo shoots with each other. Are you done over here? Okay, they want you over. Oh, okay, and it's like, but I didn't have any outfits to change into. I'm like, well, I didn't know
don't you have anything for me to wear? You know? So you see all these different covers with different guys with the same outfit. But that was so much fun, you know. That was the day after.
So, you know what? I bet that we were at one shoot together, and I didn't know you at the time. So I think it was 90. It had to be 1996. Jim and Mettler had extra points on an airline, and he brought me to the Arnold. That was my first experience at the Arnold. So he brought me out to the Arnold, and I did photos like you're saying. And you know, you set up the hotel room with the backdrop, and the girls are in and out, the girls in and out, and the guys, and you're like shooting. Well, Marla Duncan was there with me because she.
Marla.
So her and Jim were really, really good friends, and Marla had been like my inspiration. So here I am on this photo shoot with Jim, and of course Marla. I'm like wondering, I had to have stayed in, because I didn't have, Jim put me up and everything. So I must have stayed in the same room with Marla. Like, I'm kind of like spaced out. I just remember the photo shoot. I remember being there, and I had my cover, and I had, for some reason, I don't remember how that happened, but I had a bunch of, maybe Dennis got me a bunch of the magazines, and I sat by Dennis at the expo, and I signed my cover for fans next to Dennis. And I don't remember how. Newman, okay. Who I'm on the cover with.
Okay.
He won the USA's in '94.
That's right, yeah.
And I won my show '94. We took these pictures with Ralph DeHaan at the time. He was a leader photographer. And I ended up on the cover, and I didn't even know Muscle Fitness. So this is like all way before anything ever happened for me.
You realize how many athletes are dying to get on the cover, and you don't even know it? It's like, I'm on some magazine. What?
Well, I did the photos. I didn't even know who Dennis was. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So I remember Ralph calling me in like somewhere in the summer of '94. We had the little recorder, you know, the old recorders. You push the button, you hear their voices, you hear the messages. So I remember I was a waitress at the time. So I come home, 3 o'clock in the morning from work, and I push the blinking light, and I'm like, and I hear this voice. Well, congratulations, cover girl. And I'm like, what? And Ralph is like telling me, you made the cover of Muscle and Fitness. Congratulations.
Wow.
Be looking for a check in the mail for $200. Or he didn't tell me how much, but and so I was like, what does that mean? I just remember having to call him the next day. And I'm like, I don't even know what this means. He goes like, you made the cover of Muscle and Fitness. And I'm like, what? He's like, November. It'll be out in September or whatever. You know how they come out early. Yeah. I remember going to the grocery store and buying like 20 copies of it, and I'm sure the lady was like checking out, at the register. And I'm like,
this is me.
I mean, it was so crazy. And then the whole San Antonio, you'll get a kick out of this. I went to a nail salon, and back then it was not the Asian people. It was all the, kind of like the uppity white ladies doing nails. And I used to.
Only in Austin.
Well, it's San Antonio, but close. So I go into my nail salon, and the lady's doing my nails. Her name's Debbie, and she kind of, this is like the talk of the town is in that nail salon. There's 20 ladies in there that do nails. And I walk in, and I go sit down, and my girl that's doing my nails, she's like, her name's Debbie, she's like, so congratulations on your cover. And I was like, thank you. Well, it's in the grocery store everywhere, and everyone's seeing it. So she says, well, you know what the rumor is? And I'm like, I have no idea. And she goes, well, the rumor is that you're on steroids. That's why you got a cover. And I was like, I don't know. What are steroids? I'm 23.
Cover again? It's like, really?
I was 23. I had no idea. I was like, well, when I shot that 23, I'm like, I don't even know what steroids are. Like, I was not even, wasn't in the industry. But just because you had a little muscle. But, it was like this rumorville. No one could imagine that little Monica from San Antonio would know what he wanted to put me on a cover. So it was just kind of you would appreciate the story. Yeah. But I was like, well, I'm not, but okay, whatever. So we can buy so many stories, right?
I got similar stories, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But,
don't be hating.
So it's just kind of funny because it's before that cover came out, and I had not been in the industry at all. Like I just barely done a couple of fitness competitions.
I mean, I can see it, and I remember that cover. It's really I mean, you look amazing as
You know
always,
what?
but I mean,
I wanna-
there you look like a very fit.
So,
you know, I would never think, ew, she's on steroids. I mean, I know. Look at that.
So what's so funny, Sharon, is I did my own hair and makeup. This is my little leotard I used to train in, and that's all. You know, like you, I didn't have a bunch of outfits.
Yeah,
and I laughed because Dennis just won the USA's, and he was a weeder athlete, and I'm like, usually the girl's hanging on the guy, and he's hanging on me.
That's a great cover.
I look back and I'm like, that's great because he's behind me.
Yeah. And you look just natural and gorgeous there. No, absolutely. It's a wonderful cover. Yeah.
And I had no idea what a cover was.
I hate.
So funny. So many fun stuff. Okay, so your favorite was that with the ladies, and I could understand that. And I'm sure you had some other favorites, so we'll have to maybe dig some up and plant them here in the interview when this comes out. So excited. So I have a question now, because we've talked a lot about the past, and I know we're kind of getting close to our timing. I have a little fun game for you to take a couple of minutes, but can you share some advice for anyone that is maybe listening and men or women, maybe over that 45-year mark where, you know, the body's different, because, you know, we all know 20s and 30s and even 40s, but as you get older, things can change, and you still look amazing, and I know you're taking great care of yourself. So maybe share some advice or tips that have helped you keep yourself in a good place where if you needed to go do a photo shoot, you probably could do that easily. Yeah,
well, that's a good question, and I get asked that
loaded.
I just picked up a new client who is pretty badly out of shape. And he used to be, you know, never competed, but he was in shape, and now he's 50. I think he just turned the big 50. Anyway, so I just picked him up yesterday. He approached me and blah, blah, blah. So had the same conversation. It's never too late. But, I mean, everything starts in the kitchen, and it's all about what you eat, how often you eat, you know, just the quality of your food. You are what you eat. It's corny, but it's true. You are what you eat. And stay hydrated. But as far as getting in shape, I mean, if you look at our OGs like Robbie Robinson or Rick Valente or Sean Ray,
amazing,
or right, Frank Zane, they never stopped training. Tom Platz, Samir Banu, they never stopped training. Now myself, I burnt out. I'm sorry, I burnt out. It was my, you know, it was my life for so many years. I actually stopped training. I got tired of the gym. You know, I got more involved with film and TV, and I just, you know, I trimmed down, and I went more for the modeling, and I mean, and, you know, I stayed in shape by, you know, taking more dance classes or running. Really got into running for a while before my knees, you know, fell apart. But, you know, but I never stopped eating clean. And then there was a period in my life where I had a great loss. It was just devastating. Like nothing was shining in my world anymore. And I was seriously depressed and stressed it took a good 4 years. 4 years, which is part of the reason why I came back to Canada, with my daddy, and, you know, blah, blah. And I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing anything physical. I wasn't eating properly. I was drinking a lot of wine. You know, everything they shouldn't do, like everything I preach against. And I was really out of shape inside and out. And so as my head started to clear up and my light started to shine again, now I started taking care of myself again. And I thought, there was a period I thought, oh my God, you know, what have I done to myself? I finally woke up, like, you know, wipe the eyes, all right, I'm ready, you know, dust myself off. And I'm like, oh, Sharon. So, baby steps. And, you know, as an athlete, you're hardest on yourself, right? Especially knowing, like, I used to have an 8-pack. I've got long abs. I had 8-pack. And I've always had my obliques showing and stuff, you know. Then I'm getting everything back, as you can see.
Yes, you look great, girl.
Yeah. You know, the abs are back, everything. But it took a good year of taking care of myself. Because I didn't start from ground zero. And I was ahead of the game because I know my body and I knew what to do. But even myself, I had to take baby steps. Like, it's not going to get better yesterday. It's not going to get better next week, you know, and it's just, you just got to take the time, but you got to be committed. You got to want to do it. And I know this new client of mine, he's going to be amazing because he's like ready. He wants it. I'm excited for him. But you got to want to do it. But it's just a matter of sticking to your routine. It doesn't have to be hours and hours in a gym. Find out what you like to do. But most of it is 90% diet, as you know, and the rest is training, cardio, sleep, hydrate, you know, stuff like that. But it's important. That's why I think my knees have really digressed. Oh, which I want to mention something real quick while I'm here. And again, the beauty of social media makes our planet this big, right? As yourself, we have a lot of followers, so we're all around the world. And so I mentioned we share stories. A lot of us athletes, whether, you know, I've got different crews. I've got the bodybuilding fitness, I've got the martial arts, I've got the Marines, you know, so everyone's sharing their stories, and we're all getting older, and my back, my shoulder, had a hip replacement, I got a knee replacement. So we're all in that arena right now. And so I posted about a year and a half ago, you know, I'm back in Canada because I have medical here and I need something done on my knees. They're hurting. They're very sad. And so in the interim, this man who follows me on Facebook, I don't know, Dr. Strangely, or Gravely, Sam Gravely, and he just happened to notice, and he goes, hey, you got to try this. Just try something, trust me. So I'm like, who's this guy? And so I kind of Google this man, like, all right, yeah, he's legit. I got, it's free, and you're, sure, send it, I'll do anything at this point. Because at that time, I was laid up on the couch with my knees, you know, up in ice and heat, and the old athlete waiting for an MRI. It took a year and a half to get an MRI. So I'm thinking my knees are going to pop out before I get any kind, you know, it's just very frustrating. Now I'm back into like workout mode. Now I can't, you know. And so all in all, he sends me the product. The first 3 days, I'm like blown away. The inflammation was gone, the pain, I can walk. Can't run, but I don't run anymore anyway, but you know, I can walk, I can work my legs out again.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I want in. What is, you know?
What is it?
A stem cell technology that uses light therapy that helps your body activate its own stem cell growth. And so I'm so in love with this product that I wear it all the time. Now I can go for power walks. I can squat again. I don't want to squat. I used to squat 450, true. I don't want to get that big or heavy anymore, but I can squat again. You know, not to do squats all the time, just different movements, but that's just an example of how painful. I couldn't bend down to pick anything up, let alone go up and down stairs.
Wow.
This stuff, it's just, it blows my mind. If you want, I'll send you some info after, but look, I'm wearing my pad.
Well, let's see it.
Which shoulder is it on? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. 50. Right there.
Okay. Wow.
It uses light therapy because we all emit light, humans, and it's called an aura, you know. We use light therapy to help your body activate its own stem cells. It sounds ridiculous, right? Yeah, I know.
But it works.
I know. It works. So now I actually signed on with the company as a distributor. And I've got several people out there trying it out right now that already signed on because it works.
Is it something that USA can get to, or is it just Canadian?
And yeah, I'll send you the link.
I would love to look at it.
Yeah. They're called X39 patches, and I'll send you all the info. But I'm serious. I mean, I know I'm trying to. This isn't a commercial. It is kind of like to get it.
No,
out there,
I'm happy with you sharing. No, share, because a lot of people.
Amazing.
So is it something that you have to change out every month? Is it at one time? How long does that patch last?
It looks like a Band-Aid. It's non-transdermal because there's no drugs in it. There's no medication in it. It's just full of copper peptides. And as you know, we're built of peptides. It's amino acid building blocks. And it just uses that with proteins and certain herbs that helps light therapy. It sounds ridiculous. I'll give you the info. And David Schmidt, the inventor, he breaks it down. But it's all natural. That's what I love about it. And I have elders using it. I've got my lawyer's mother on it.
Wow.
And these are some of the people have had injuries for years. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't believe it either. But I tried it. And it's just that now, you know, I'm on a daily. You can, you know, and again, it's not an aspirin where it's going to make you feel better, but 4 days later you're going to feel shitty again. You have to wear it, at least give 3 months, and wear it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. For 12 hours, you're activating stem cells. Then you give your body a break, take it off, and then during those 12 hours, then it starts to delegate the new cells to where it needs to be. So, you know, I had pain issues and hip issue, and so when I first started using it, it's like, oh man, my hip is better, but my knees are in. Oh, take it to where it needs it most, because the body is very smart, as we know. Right?
Yeah, right.
It's got a brain of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love this product, but
yeah, I would love to hear more about it for sure. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. But very yeah, cool. I mean, and again, you know, you're never too old, and you just gotta, you know, it's all through the nutrition and hydration.
So for nutrition, because I'm sure, like me, everyone's curious. Are you eating multiple times a day, every day right now? Do you eat like 4 or 5 times? Or you 2 times?
When I was all depressed from that, I wasn't eating. But no, that's one thing that's never changed with me, all in all, is what and how often I eat. I think everyone should eat every 2.5 to 3 hours, maybe every 3 to 4 hours. Okay, you should get at least 5 meals, smaller meals. We're talking small, not big, you know, and you know, snack all day. It keeps your sugar levels healthy, and you know, you don't have any spikes, and it keeps your metabolism running. You got to feed your engine. My analogy has always been in all my seminars, even at Camp Pendleton in the day when I used to go to Tom Beaters, is you fine tune your car. You give it the best oil, the best gas. You make sure this is done and that's done. You shine your nose. You know, it's like your body's a fine tuned vehicle. You got to feed it properly. You got to make sure that's watered. You got to make sure of this. And that, you know, you got to treat it because this is your vehicle, you know, and you want to keep it healthy and working great. Treat it like an expensive sports car. You wouldn't throw shitty gas in your car, right? But got to keep your body fed because a lot of times people think, well, intermittent fasting, okay, well, it depends on your situation. But if I only eat like 2 meals a day, then I'm going to lose weight. Well, you might be a flatter, smaller version of yourself, but when you finally do eat, you're going to, again, it's because your body goes in starvation mode. We can get into all that, you know. Yeah. But, you know, everybody should eat 2.5 to 3 hours, maybe at the most 4 hours a day. Small meals. I'm still high protein, minimal carbs, low fat.
And then you've told everyone how to eat right and stay healthy and look amazing. All right, Sharon, so fun to catch up with you. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Monica Brant Show and offering so much great information and fun stories. And thank you for what you've done in our industry to help create what we all get to know and love and utilize still to today.
I had a blast, and thank you. I'm honored to have been invited. Hope to do this again. I hope to see you soon.
I know.
Are you going to be at the Olympia?
Yes.
Yes, I'll see you there.
You're going to be there?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a booth for the Monica Brant Show, so I'll have to see you there. Come by.
Maybe we can get all the girls to come by.
Right? I'm going to have to see you.
I know Sherry will be there.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? I'll bring my my cover or my calendar, and we'll all sign it. I have, and if you don't have one, I have one for you.
Yeah, I'd like one for you. Okay. I'll grab it at the Olympia.
Yes, you will. All right, sweetie. Big hug.
Thank you, my dear. Love you much. And bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.